and welcome to Mariposa's Fusion Food channel. I'm Miss Deanie, hello to many of you out there. And today we're going to do something a little bit unusual. Maybe Americans and maybe some African nations and others may recognize what it is. And it is these. And these are chicken gizzards. We're going to do fried chicken gizzards. So I've got my chicken gizzards and one egg. We're going to mix this up in a minute because we're going to mix the egg around it so it can coat, the coating can stick onto it. So we've got, and it's totally gluten free, this is called Gari, and this is cassava meal. Now, many Africans around the world, especially West Africans, will know what this is. Excuse me. My silly cooker. Yes, so many West Africans will know what this is, and it's used to make eba, and there's a thickener and many other things. It's also good to fry things with, and especially if you're a gluten-free eater, this is one of the things you can use. You can use this, you can use cornmeal, pounded yam flour, or even mashed potato, instant mashed potato flour. Seriously, it works, it works. So I have put 1/4 teaspoon of this. This is Asoefetida. Yeah. Firstly, what I did was I ground down the Gari, which was a bit coarse, to a finer kind of texture. Then 1/4 teaspoon of Asoefetida, which replaces onion and garlic in a lot of Indian recipes, but it works perfectly well here. Just use 1/4 teaspoon because your food can taste a bit bitter if you add too much. So be careful of the quantities, please. So next I added dried basil, and that is a 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of coriander powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of chili flakes because you don't want it too spicy. So I'm going to turn back my fryer back on. And then I'm going to give this a mix. So the fryer, I'm going to sort out in a moment. We're going to wash our hands. Any soap dodgers out there, don't bother with it, wash your hands. This is not the time to be mucking about. Okay. So we get our gizzards. Lovely. Now these were pressure cooked first in salt, bay leaf, lime powder, and a little bit of garlic. Yeah, you can use whatever you want to when you're boiling them, but please just make sure that they're softened to a certain degree first. Yeah. So put them in. Make sure they're coated, they're well coated though. Make sure they're coated like so. When the oil is heated, put them in. And this will yield at least 3 to 4 batches. So you've got to fry them in medium-sized batches, at least about 6 to 8 pieces you can get away with. Maybe a bit more depending on how big your frying pan really is. Oh, I also added to the flour mix was a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, because I'd already put the salt in to boil or to pressure cook the gizzards. It should be seasoned enough, so it's just to season the flour a little bit. If you'd like more salt, go ahead and do so, but it's not a good idea to over salt these because they will not be enjoyable. Wash my hands now. And the whole idea of doing this, they're cooked already. All you have to do is seal the coating onto them and make sure that they're at least kind of golden brown and crispy. That might take about 7 to 10 minutes depending on how high your heat is. So when we click back, then hold on a second. Yeah, so when we click back, you'll see exactly what I mean, and it'll be time to plate up. So see you soon. And we're back. Hi. So we fried them in about 4 batches. 4 batches it took. And here is the end result. Now what you do, you heat up the oil on a medium hot heat. And to test how hot your oil is, just put a small piece of bread, and if it goes brown quite quickly enough, then that means your oil is hot. I know how to cook already. There might be some of you that are not used to cooking things in oil or cooking things at all, not even to boil things. So you do that, you scoop out the piece of bread and you put in the gizzards or whatever you're doing to fry. And what you're looking for, bring up close to the camera, is a kind of golden, you want a golden colour to them. I mean, this all depends on how much seasoning you put on it. You want it golden, and you want it to be crispy. Yep. And just really yummy, yeah. Now, you're not going to eat these things very often. This is just a treat. And this is kind of my Sunday treat, to be honest. Because I haven't really had them like that for a while. So I'm going to serve these. It's optional. With my tomato basil pepper sauce, which is going to be probably the next video after this one. So if it's not the next video after this one, I will get around to it very soon. I will. So, time to try. Put a little bit on there. And this one's got ghost pepper, so when I say a little bit, this really is a little bit on there. Yep. Crunchy, spiced, but not spicy. Except for the pepper sauce giving it that spice. Lovely. Don't mind if I do again. This is perfect for anyone that's a little bit fussy and who's never eaten gizzards before. Because sometimes the stewed ones may have a little slight funny texture in the mouth, and they might prefer something a bit drier, like this. So, if and when you can, give this a try. If you don't feel like frying them, I suggest you put them in batches in the oven. And they go very well in the oven. You just wait a bit longer, about 10 to 12 minutes. On a high kind of heat, like a 200. You cook them in batches. Or maybe spread them on a long baking tray. Coat them and spread them on a long baking tray. And then cook them all together. So thank you for watching. I hope you like this recipe. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. And I'll hit you with another video. Buen provecho.